Hey everybody, welcome to the Growing with Fishes podcast. We have a pretty full house tonight. It's going to be a good show. Our guest is having a couple of last minute problems getting his connection working, but I think he's going to get it here shortly. So we'll have him join us shortly. Today's one of our main guests today is Michael McShane. He's a cancer and HIV survivor. He's been using cannabis oil for a long time. He helped pioneer cannabis oil production out in Michigan. He's got a bunch of new stuff to talk about, and that'll be pretty cool to have. We also have Malik Spider. He's going to be here talking to us about breeding and bunch of other fun stuff. He's got some seeds to give away before the end of the show, so that'll be pretty awesome. We have Alion from the forums. If you guys are, part of the Aquaponic Cannabis group or any of the other aquaponic groups, you probably know who he is. We also have Ganja Guy and Brian Grow. So thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for having me.
Malik, do you want to go first? Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what you do and what you've been up to?
All right. I started out in this growing community with Dude Grows Crew. Shout out to them. Fish Ganja Guys in there with me, and we stay real active in that community. And I was lucky enough to find myself working for Subcool and TGA Genetics now, helping hit the YouTube channel, produce content, come up with platforms, do their live shows. And here in Michigan, I'm right by Galactic Garden, so I've been working with them as well. And they're the Michigan distributors of TGA Genetics, and things are going awesome. And it's all possible through online and social media and Dude Grows Crew and wonderful podcasts like this. So thanks for having me, guys. Super stoked.
No, thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Anytime, dude. I'm happy. I want to get into some capillary action and dual root zone chat here in a second when it's.
Yeah, definitely. I think between all of us, there might be one person, Steve, that knows aquaponics pretty well. So can't hear you there, Steve.
Hope you're on mute, Steve.
There's our guest. It looks like he finally joined as well. You there, Michael?
Finally, man. Jeez, oh Pete.
Welcome.
Hey there, guys, ladies, gentlemen.
What's up?
Glad to have you.
Good to be here.
Welcome. Yeah, I had to run over there for a minute. Get a handful of stuff,
Do you? He's a little bit limited on time. Do you mind if we switch gears real quick, Malik? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Hey, Michael, do you want to talk to us a little bit about you and what you've been up to? We had you on the show once a long time ago, and it'd be nice to have you talk a little bit about that and kind of an update with your health and how cannabis has been helping you. And then I know you've been working with a case out in Michigan. I know you wanted to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I do. Well, I've been, I guess that was back right around the time we were voting for Prop 64.
Yep.
In that time frame. And we got up and since that point, quite frankly, I kind of took a hit on my health and I kind of more of a struggle really than anything. And I've been using the cannabis oil, quite a bit for cancer and HIV for 7 years, I think by now. And I was just really trying to hang on, and I was, not doing too well. And I don't know if you saw some of the pictures later last year on Facebook, but this cancer finally just took over, and it was a lot bigger than I thought. And I was really fortunate enough to it was a kind of an outreach, really, and I put a video out on this. But I was at a Starbucks restaurant doing my missionary work, and I see a guy with really bad cancer, and I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, you know, do you have cancer?" And he said, "Yeah," and I do. And I said, "Well, I don't want to pry into your business," but I went on with my spiel about the oil and all that. And you know, long story short, he told me he was going to do this new treatment that you know, I'd not heard of, and a medical treatment from the hospital, from Western medicine. I cautioned him and told him not to try it; it would kill him, and it was just another version of chemotherapy. But you know, he said that's what he wanted to do, and so you know, I said, "Well, I owe you a cup of coffee," and so we kind of separated at that point, and I wished him good luck. And I saw him 6 months later, and he was pretty well all healed up, and he you know, obviously got my attention. And I said, "Well, what did you do, Greg?" And he told me he did that immunotherapy that he had mentioned to me, you know, 6 months earlier. And I said, "Well, that obviously had worked." And you know, what is immunotherapy? And he says, "Well, as far as I know, it uses your own immune system to go after the cancer, and it healed it up." And when I talked to him, you know, he had a real similar history that you know, he had the chemo and the radiation and all the surgeries and all these things, radical neck dissection. I mean, that doesn't even sound right. But you know, there he was, all healed up. And I asked him, "Well, did you get sick when you took it? I mean, was it painful?" Or, and he said, "No, not at all. You know, it didn't really affect him, and he just got better." And so, you know, my next question was, well, how do you get it, and how much does it cost? And well, again, long story short, it's about $1,000 a day, and it takes 10 months to do it. And I've been doing it, I don't know, 4 or 5. And it's hard to tell, but you know, my condition is improved dramatically. The nose area is all, you know, it's healing up instead of getting worse, which is a clear sign of success. And it feels and looks a lot like the oil treatment, really. In that, the immune kind of the same. I just really, my system is just too far gone, and I should have prefaced it by saying that I haven't taken any HIV medication in a long time, and you know, I don't believe in that either. So that's been the latest and greatest, and you know, it's what I've seen, and you know, from this has been just an amazing comeback with this immunotherapy. And I went down to UCSD in La Jolla, and I got it gifted to me. I went and did almost like a Shark Tank Live episode with these group of doctors, and I told them, you know, where I'd been and all my experiences and all the things I had tried and that didn't work, and that, you know, I really I was dying and I needed to try this stuff, and if they could get me on it, I would do it. And it's working. So the oil's been, you know, I don't mean to take over the whole show, but the oil has been, you know, real hard to get, you know, since medical marijuana has been, you know, really, I think my word is hijacked out from underneath us. You know, it's the oils and the things that really work are being either outlawed or minimized to the point of not being able to work, you know, not being process capable. And so they're again, the pharmaceutical company wins and gets the deal. You know, they get the business. So, you know, that's another thing. And, you know, that really bothers me. But anyway, I'll take a break.
Well, what can you, because I was just discussing this earlier, and since I've not had to get into it yet, and I've been busy with my own projects and haven't really got into the CBD oil so much, was there a percentage? Is there a percentage on that CBD oil that you're using?
Well, when I do oil, you know, I made oil for several years back in Michigan, and I was also in the paint and coating industry that, you know, but they went along well together, and separating resin and curing it and all the things that we do is what I did. And so I was able to get out of one industry, and get into something a lot better. And I didn't do anything really with CBD because I didn't grow it. And there really wasn't a lot of CBD back east, at least, you know, in the first few years of the medical program in Michigan. Wasn't a popular strain. And I used mostly indicas. And you know, when I was making the oil, I would use preferably, you know, 3 or 4 kinds. I'd go out and buy 4 quarters if I could, and make the oil, you know, from a combined effort of a, you know, multi-strain or composite, you know. So not knowing exactly what cannabinoids that we needed or what we had, the double-blind study, we you know, just hit you with as much as we could, and as many cannabinoids as possible was the theory. So you know, that's where that came from. That was the direction at that time. So I don't have a lot of experience with the CBD.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. So I feel bad for you having to go. You want to process something, and you have to go buy 4 quarters. I can't even imagine having to go through that.
Yeah, well, you know, I also had. I'm going to power up here if I can. I had my own patients in the area that I was taking care of, and I just didn't have the bandwidth to be able to do everything for everybody. So on the oil deals, I would go out and procure the flower, you know, generally outside of my grow room.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know if I'm going to lose power here. I'm going to try to get somebody to help me. It's not my phone, so I'm a little at odds here.
Well, I know it's got to be.
You guys still there?
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. I was just thinking it's got to be hard because I know in Michigan right now, without no regulation or nothing, it's hard to get in oils that are consistent of any type.
Because it's basically becoming a free-for-all in some states, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know they've
Yeah.
been getting regulating more in Colorado and stuff with the edibles and such the last 3 years, that they didn't do it first. And now all the other states need to catch up, but I'm surprised that the newer states that have allowed medical marijuana and you know, and oils and stuff aren't taking that model from out west, where they found out they have to register or regulate it to some extent.
I need power.
So it's quality, and you know, it's clean and quality. Like we talked a couple weeks ago about guys going to buying medical marijuana from a pharmacy and finding bug poop in it. You know, just not cool. You know, it should be all inspected and checked, and make sure it is quality and clean.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry.
Hey, I got power. I got power again. Sorry, guys. Jeez.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the court case you were helping with back in Michigan?
Well, you know,
Michigan.
that ties in, and what that was I got an opportunity. A friend of mine from now he's up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, out in the middle of nowhere, and he is an oil maker that goes back to day one with me and taught me how to make oil. So he really was near and dear to my heart, and it was somebody that I approached, you know, in a very desperate state to, you know, help me save my life, and he did. So he had encountered a charge up in Escanaba, Michigan, and he's facing a judge next month, or on the 14th, I think, of June. And he called me and said, "Would you please send this judge a letter and try to, you know, give him an idea of what I'm all about, and you know, a reference letter to show what kind of character this man has. And so I did, and I pumped out this letter. And I'm not a big letter writing guy, and as a matter of fact, I hate writing letters. But I went right home and I wrote it, and it just seemed to hit on all levels. It gave the judge a good idea of who he was and who I was. And I told him that, I had AIDS and cancer, and the guy saved my life. I mean, where do we go from here? And that I just thought he was a stand-up guy. And so this letter that I actually mailed the judge has gone all around the internet. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's on my page, and it's almost it's really a blueprint, and what I call a template of really where our industry is, and what people like me as an example of the guy to have medical marijuana, the Dennis Perones of the world, and all these people that have illnesses need this, and we're being suppressed, and it all comes from the big pharmaceutical companies that want the oil for themselves. And you mentioned it, a lot of these places around the country, medical marijuana and the legalities and whatever, but really you look at California, and we lost medical marijuana in regards to medibles with this Prop 64. You got something with a 25 milligram capacity limit on a medible, and I think you only put 4 or 5 and 6 in a bag. So the most you're going to get out of probably a $10 or $20 purchase is 150 milligrams, and for somebody with a real illness, it's not enough. So again, the oil, I've talked about the oil before, and it's a 7-year felony in San Diego County to make oil, and that comes from the police, not the fire chief.
Holy shit.
And the reason that is that they're protecting, again, the pharmaceutical industry. And in regards to fire safety, I was a fire safety engineer in the paint business, and I've been to a lot of fires, and I've been around that world, and that's really not the kind of dangers that we're facing here by making oil the proper way. And if you follow guidelines to make the oil, it's really not dangerous, and it can be controlled to the point where risk to people are very, very minimal, if at all. So, I don't know if you saw the article today, but there was a company that did extractions in the San Diego area. It wasn't actually downtown, but it was one of the suburbs. And last year they got raided. They were making all the extractions for people like Bang Chocolate, and these are different people that were doing the medibles, and they got raided, and they took all this guy's money, and he had 20 employees, I think, and shook everybody down in the parking lot, took all their money, and I don't know, $150,000 worth of money, straight up cash, and all of his equipment, and he just won that back. But long story short, he wins this money back, the civil forfeiture booty. I think it was last week. Today, this Bonnie, I think her name is Bonnie Dukakis, filed charges, criminal charges. So she replaced the money she stole with this vindictive nature of then go ahead and filing charges on this guy, and I think probably everybody in the building, who knows. And so now he doesn't get his money back. Now he got to give the money to the lawyer. So another big fantasy, but another big ripoff is what it is. And it's racketeering is what it is. And it should be charged federally, and these people should go to federal prison for that, because you would, and I know I would. So, but that's what's going on with this oil, and it's legal and this and that, and what's legal is selling high-powered, high-dollar flower at some of these proprietary locations. That, again, guess who owns those? The same people that are running around arresting people, and striking up these behind-the-scenes deals. People like American for Safe Access and those kind of things. So, I can go on and on and on, but the oil industry and the availability is strained at best. And I came out here to make it, and to literally come out here to be one of the people that you could rely on for good oil. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the liability is as high as, almost as high as the gain, So it's a tough nut, and it's really it really upsets me a lot to think that we had such a great opportunity with cannabis, and we not only blew it, but we sold it out to the same bastards and took it away in the beginning. So I'm just a little bit wound up about that.
That's like 6 states got Marlboro cannabis cigarettes packaged in a white package with a green pot leaf. It looks like a menthol package, but it's got a pot leaf. And they're selling it for some ungodly amount out there in 6 states. I think most of them are out west too. But yeah, Marlboro now has cannabis cigarettes.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about. Kind of, sort of.
I just want to welcome another guest who just showed up a minute ago. Be Patient from the Dude Gross crew. No stranger to Malik and myself. Welcome, B.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
Hello, welcome.
Good to see you.
Was
On the left,
What's
okay.
up, Malik?
not much. What's up, Leia?
Oh, just getting ready to have some dabs.
So, thanks, Michael. We'll talk. We're gonna switch to Malachi for a little bit,
Absolutely.
and let him talk about his stuff, and then we'll go back. So,
And Michael, I hope you feel better soon, man.
Thanks.
Thanks for your story, Michael.
yeah, thanks.
you bet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Michael.
So others may live, baby. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, man, I love over here in Michigan
Yeah.
as well, so we should link up and talk later on off air.
Okay.
Sure. But yeah, guys, I've just been staying busy and Dude Grows crew, active, working with Sub Cool on helping to put the platforms together for the show, get guests similar to this, and on my own, I got a little breeding project going. I'm working with a plushberry male, and I'm hitting a Gorilla Glue number 4, and I'm hitting a 9-pound hammer, and I'm making all those seeds just to give away at the Cannabis Cup in Michigan, at the TGA booth. I'm going to give them away, and to people in like Dude Grows crew or other people that need them online and social media. And it's really awesome seeing people grow out your stuff and be able to contribute. So
That sounds awesome. We got some customers in Michigan. You need to give me a link so I can hook them up with that where you're going to be.
yeah, and we can get the TGA Genetics into their stores too. Or absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to be running PWK here pretty soon.
Right. Be patient. That's good shit.
Right.
The Papa Whopper Kush.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, that started as an inside joke with some of us TGC, and it just kind of snowballed, and Malik just took it to a whole nother level, and now it's an actual thing that exists, and it's fantastic.
It's even
Yeah.
his logo.
That's what's up, man. I mean, you can't name something yourself, but if your buddies are gonna name something, then shoot.
Right.
What are you talking about? You can totally give yourself your own nickname.
So you do some breeding?
Yep, I've done 3 breeding projects. The first 2 I did just branching and selected a few branches on each strain, and got a few hundred seeds each round. And then this last round I'm doing right now, I'm in the middle of, that should be done in like 4 weeks. I let the male run for about 30 days in flower, and then he opened his pollen sacs all the way, and he was throwing pollen for about 4 days. And then I killed him and took him out. So I'm hoping to get mostly mature seeds, nice tiger stripe.
Awesome. Do you want to tell people out there who maybe haven't tried to breed their own strains before, maybe how to go about it? How would someone do it if they're looking to get started?
Absolutely. And all this information I heard from, or shout out to Kilowatt and Dude Grows Crew. He walked me through everything I did, and all of Dude Grows Crew and buddies in YouTube. I just checked every
Absolutely.
step out. So anything.
Kilowatt's good GGC.
Yeah, absolutely. So yep, just referencing info, and he just told me to take the male plant, and I separated it into a separate closet.
Is this how babies are made? Is that what we're talking about now?
Right. Yes, totally, dude. Cannabis
All right,
babies.
so when are we gonna get to the money shot?
Right. So 28 days in flower in the male until you start feeling like the pollen sacs are starting to open, and then separate them totally out to a closet or some other room if you don't want the pollen to bust in that area. And keep your light cycle on 12-12. I'd go another week until the pollen sacs are completely open. Just check it out. You don't even need much airflow after the 28 days, and you're only just going to get the pollen sacs open to collect some pollen, kill that male, and then you can use a paintbrush and just brush on a few branches if you're going to do it that way. And then the other way, they just leave the male to run right with the female, and then you want the pistils on the female to be showing about 3 weeks into flower. Nice, healthy, so you get a good amount of seeds. Let the male bust, and then I'd kill them off after a few days so you don't get a bunch of premature seeds. But
You're painting,
not professional, I'm just getting started.
when you're painting the pollen onto the females, do you just paint it on the white hairs, or are you painting it on what?
Yeah, I just painted on the pistils, the little white hairs, correct.
Okay.
Yep, got 2 rounds doing branching, and then this last one I did the total breed tent. I have a couple of videos on my channel. And,
Yeah, what's your channel? I'll post it up in the description.
all right, Malik Spider, SPYDR, and I'll throw a copy for you right here.
And then his seeds are in the description as well.
Yep, this is a TGA Genetics Subcool, my boss, and Subcool 420.
Upside down.
Upside down. There we go.
Woo!
But yeah, all the good strains: Plushberry, 9-Pound Hammer, Corkle, Alchemy. They got a lot of new crosses. Gorilla Glue 4 times Space Queen, Cosmic Glue it's called. Oh yeah. But what's going on with you guys? Fish?
Not too much, man. Just still running through this round right now. I just sent you a few pictures a little while ago of my 3 keeper phenos of the Christmas. And let's see, just throwing out some really good stuff right now. Fish are all happy and alive. Plants are doing well. Lights on both sides of my study are kicking ass. Black Dog's putting on some serious frost right now. Spectrum King's also put on the frost. And to anybody who's been watching my study, I just want to remind everybody that I'm not doing it based on weight. What I'm doing is I'm waiting till things are cured, and then I'm sending them off to the labs because I really want to know what that difference in spectrum is going to do for potency and the terpene production and the profile that it comes with. So this, after harvest, give it a month, then things are going to go into the labs, and I'll be posting the lab results online, and they're on the YouTube channel and on Instagram, so we'll definitely see what's going on. But yeah, everything's been great. Thank you for asking. That makes me feel special.
Be patient.
What's going on, brother?
What's up over there, bro? How's the garden going?
That's pretty good. You know, just actually getting ready to flip here in a little bit. Getting ready to toss that New Millennium Decision in there. That just makes it so much easier. Hit it once, maybe twice, and I mean, stretch is cut down by 10-15%, and they go from veg time to flower time in days instead of weeks.
Nice. What are you growing right now?
Let's see, I'm down to I've got 2 different phenos of the Bred by 42 Northern Lights and G13 cross. Real nice hardy stuff. One's super indica. One's got looks like a nice hybrid balance going. And feminized Dynafem original amnesia, excuse me, and Blimberg Chemdog 4, which I believe is Chemdog crossed with green crack. And some, just because I can't get away from it, some bag seed wonderful, because every now and again bag seed just does it for you, and I've had good luck the last few runs with it. So I found one that I really liked, had a nice stem rub, nice leaf pattern. I'm gonna run it, see what happens.
And for people who aren't really sure what a stem rub is, would you mind describing that to the viewers?
So something I like to do after they've been sexed and you know what you're actually going to be working with. If you're not running a carbon filter in veg, sometimes you'll open up your tent or walk in your room and go, oh, it smells like cannabis in here, and that's because there is a small amount of resin and terpene production being put out by vegging even small immature plants, and you can use just take your thumb and your forefinger and preferably with gloves on, rub a section of stem and put that straight up to your fingers, and you're going to get a good idea of what that plant's terpene profile is going to be like later in life, and that gives you a good indication, usually, of what kind of quality you're going to be working with.
Yeah. Okay, right on, man. Well, and now everybody learned something new today.
I think, oh well, some of us.
I have a question. Has anyone here ever heard of or know why or anything of stem splitting? I saw someone with a post where they stuck a knife in the center of the stalk, and I was like,
if you look at my Instagram page, I have, for my last grow, I stuck a Bic lighter, a Mammoth Microbes Bic lighter into a stem split in my my Rude Boy OG. Crushing stems, get a little too hard. Sometimes what'll end up happening is that it'll split almost into like 2 or 4 separate sections, and you'll be able to like physically put, there'll be a hole there, but it doesn't hinder growth. It just pushes past it, regenerates it, and keeps on going. And it just seems to, it's a method of super cropping as best I understand it, and it works for me. I do it all the time.
So wait, so explain what it does again? I'm still lost on.
I use it as a super cropping technique where I'm gonna take the strongest, top, and I'm gonna pinch it just below where new growth is, and I'm gonna send that hormone signal. Other than just bushing out the lower nodes, it's also gonna strengthen that portion of the stem because it's sending all of that to repair that damage.
It just seems to me like a huge possible way for getting fungus in the center of your plant. That's the biggest thing that I'm not convinced that splitting the stalk.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm actually looking to do away with it. I started using OG springs very recently, and if I don't have to do any more super cropping and I can save that extra few days in veg and not have to worry about that stress, being able to trigger auxins and hormonal signals without stress signals, I'm all for it.
And I'm going to be trying one of those, or a couple of those OG springs on the recommendation of JR Token and Be Patient in my next run. But I just want to let you know, B, you can super crop somebody without really opening it up and exposing it to molds and stuff like that.
No, I know. I tend to be a little overzealous with it. I'll be the first to admit that. I mean, I lost a decent top off of a plant the other day because I went a little too hard on it. Yeah. It's one of those, when
gentle squeeze, you don't got to choke a bitch. I mean, come on.
It comes from the days of the old school production growing where you're trying to get as much out of what you could. And back in the days of low plant counts, when we were trying to be as legal as possible and still push out weight, you're doing everything you can to every plant to maximize it. And, back then we just didn't know. It was like, hey, this does this. Cool, keep doing it.
Okay, I have faith in you.
I just didn't know if anyone had a good explanation other than just trying to stress the plant out to increase terps or something.
Well, B was really just trying to make a lighter holder on his plant for him. So
Yeah, I mean, I never lost my lighter after that. So
it needs a lighter leash. You have the plant right there.
I've heard people scoring, if it like, in, I don't know, I think I heard it one time, somebody scoring a stem towards the end or something to maybe shock it into releasing more resins. I don't know.
interesting.
But
Something I found interesting was I can't remember if I saw this on Instagram or something the other day. People are selling now lacquered, like stalks and like the bases of plants. Like I saw one that was actually subcool grown. That was
yeah, Mendo Dope, they're on live
yeah,
right now on the Resistance.
yeah.
They're doing stock art where they're like, yeah, badass, like finishing and making. That's what they actually got a whole microphone stand.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's cool.
That they can dab with too, or there's a dab thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's dope. So yeah, stocks can be money makers.
Absolutely.
So what about our fearless leader here, Steve? Again, thank you for having us.
Yeah, Steve, tell
what's
us about
new
the
with you?
excitement in your life right now.
What have I been up to? Oh man. Yeah, so I've been working on a couple of different projects. I might be going up to Northern California, but again, or I might be staying down in San Diego. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, eventually Canada here in a couple months. Puerto Rico at some point in between. Yeah, all over the place. I don't really have any timelines at the moment, as far as anything. I have a couple of important. I'll know more after the end of June. So
Do you know when the rescheduled aquaponics course might be?
no, we'll figure it out once Marty's situation. We had to postpone it because Marty's kid was born on Saturday morning. So yeah, obviously we needed him if we are going to do it together. So we're going to postpone it, and then once we're going to give it a couple weeks for him to get used to the baby and all, and then we'll have him. We'll get reschedule that. We had so much demand from Australia. I think we're going to also do a separate class on Australian hours. So if you want to take that class because you're up at weird hours, we'll also offer that. Or if you're in Australia, there was enough of you that wanted a class to make it worth it. We're kind of not mean it that way, but I mean, like, we were pretty surprised how there was almost 10 people that were running a class from Australia on Australian time. So we'll do that as well.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, and until we're gonna give Marty a week or two, and a couple of weeks to get used to having the new Munchkin. So it's got a new little clone.
Nice.
Now, how do people sign up for the course once it's been rescheduled?
Oh, yeah. So if you signed up for before, you already got an email. But if not, you can go to the website over at potentponics.com, click on shop, and the class is on there.
And does coupon code DUDE get us anything off, or?
No, I gotta figure out how coupon codes work. We'll figure out something.
So right on, man.
What's new in your grow? Since I know your time is going to be limited soon.
Oh, me? No, I already covered it. Fish are alive, plants are healthy, and
Crystal cookies coming down how long? Hours now?
What'd you say?
What your crystal cookies coming down in hours now?
Yeah, I'm counting down for sure. But I've got one tiny little Vienna skunk pheno that is ahead of everything else, so it's coming down in the next few hours. But everything else is all pretty much timed up with everybody else, so they're all on for the same day.
So you want to talk about your ladybug genocide there?
No, I'll be documenting that. Let's just say I have a bet going with some people on whether or not the duct tape on certain areas of my tent are eating more ladybugs, or certain lights that I have with fans on them are eating more. So I'll be seeing at the end, because I know for a fact that the lights with the fans, I've dumped out piles of corpses before. So I'll be keeping an eye on that at the end of the grow, because I know that the ladybug population is going somewhere.
When we laugh about this because it's funny, but at the end of the day, like I was explaining earlier, that really is a hazard. You know, if you release a couple, 1,000 predatory insects, and they all end up in your light source, and you have,
Could actually,
exactly, that's my point. When you mix living biology and electronics, things catch on fire, and that's a scary notion.
Very true. So, it is what it is. But just keeping an eye on things.
At least it's easy enough. There's lots of different computer fan screens and stuff like that that are cheap that you can get, for next to nothing at the computer store. Set up your micro center up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
there's that.
Come join me in trim jail. We can troubleshoot some stuff.
When I'm in trim jail?
Yeah. We'll take 20 minutes off for a business meeting.
You guys be having the munchies in trim jail, taking 20 minutes off to go get some food.
All right.
Yeah, I treat my trimmers well. Free pizza.
All right.
See, I don't feel like I've never had a problem with trimming. I like trimming. I mean, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. It's something.
Wet trim or dry trim, though?
I try to hang whole plants as much as possible now.
Yeah.
Oh, wet trim all day.
Hold plant hang for be patient.
Dry trim. Dry trim means more hash.
I like about that.
You mean more hash?
Well, more bubble hash. More squishy.
Yeah, but it's less on your weed. Because you'll knock more of it off on the trim process. You get more like dry sip in the bottom of your thing. I don't know. That's why I just like taking the wet trim and then freezing it and then making it in a bubble. Find it yields a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't have the room in the freezer. I'm on limited space, so I still kind of work with what I can.
Word. Yeah, I've been. For those of you guys that didn't see my video, I made a video a week or so ago. I've been making bubble out of trim and then trim into the bubble into rosin. Man, the 73 and 25 bubble into rosin is the smoothest stuff.
Terpy.
Yeah, super terpy. Doesn't make you cough at all. Like, so good.
Hey, and just to go off of the weed talk for a minute, because I know we have someone that we haven't really spoken to that's with us right now, and that's Joshua.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm here.
Aurelian.
Hey, thank you again for joining us tonight. I don't want you to feel too neglected. We're just all in zone for a little bit. But yeah, tell us how you got into aquaponics and what you got going on.
I got into aquaponics back when I lived in Arizona because of water problems and just trying to be a conservationist. I've always had a conservationist, attitude with all things in life. And yeah, living in Arizona, it wasn't exactly rocket science to say, hey, I need to try this. And I didn't really try doing cannabis right off the bat. I was just doing, your normal leafy greens and your veggies and herbs and stuff. And it worked so well that I was like, well, hey, why don't I just throw a seed of some pot in here? And sure enough, it came out. And it wasn't great the first time, because I didn't know anything about a dual root zone. I didn't know about other things that you do have to pay attention to, like pests and stuff, in aquaponics, because we're working in a more moist environment, and you have a higher chance of molds and funguses and things. And so, it was all just a learning process. And over the years, I still consider myself an amateur because I don't make any money at what I do. And I just grow for myself and my wife. And like a couple years ago, I was growing for my mom when she back before we passed here in Colorado. I live in Colorado now. Back before they passed recreational, and she had her medical license, so I was her caregiver, and that was the way I grew all her medicine was with aquaponics, just right in my little cabin that I was living in. And using crawfish, I found was just awesome. I mean, I can't sing the praises of crawfish enough, I guess, but Steve probably knows what I'm talking about there. But yeah, crawfish, I mean, you could pack them in, like literally pack them into your tank, and they don't mind as long as the water is turbid enough that they don't fight each other, because they are cannibals. But I found that the emulsions that come from it, all their shell casings and all their waste, and even just their dead bodies, is it's just really great stuff. High in calcium, high in phosphorus, high in magnesium. The nitrogen is still in the system because they're still peeing and pooping in the water, and the bacteria take care of that and turn it into plant soluble nitrates. And but right now I'm not using any aquaponics because I'm having a water problem again. And I have to haul my water, so I've got a garden out back that I've been setting up to just be a no-till garden, basically wood chips and and earthworms, and they take care of it. And then I don't have to use as much water. I use probably, I just watered them today, and it's been 2 weeks since the last time I watered them. So, and that was when I put them in. And yeah, just been dealing with that. Eventually gonna be setting up another indoor grow as soon as I can afford another tent, and for flowering. And gonna use crawfish again. Really looking forward to going to the local lake here and catching them. And that's another thing is crawfish are just so easy to get. Like, you don't have to spend any money, So, and I'm a cheap bastard. So yeah, that's my story.
Right on.
I dig it, man. I dig that.
Well, just to follow up, because I work in the medical field, so when I hear people talk about medical things, it always kind of catches me. Is your mom doing okay?
Oh yeah, she does okay. She gave up her medical license because recreational passed, and she was like, well, why should I spend money on getting another medical license? I was like, well, because with a caregiver, your caregiver could grow you enough medicine, and you won't have to worry about. Whereas recreational, you're really limited here in Colorado with what you can do. So, like, she didn't see the point. She was like, oh, I'll just get by on 6 plants. I guess she does, so more power to her.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I totally can understand why somebody would be like, well, I don't want to go through the hassle of getting a med card, but it does definitely come with certain protections and benefits. So if you
Right.
qualify, I definitely tell people that's the way to go.
Oh, it is, absolutely. If you have something, an actual illness. She has fibromyalgia, and it really does help fibromyalgia patients. My wife also has fibromyalgia, and when she's having a flare up, smoke a bowl and she's fine. The anxiety levels go down, the pain comes down with that, and onward. And but yeah, if you have something that you can get that medical license for, definitely get it, because you're just going to be so much more happier with the amount of product you can produce for yourself.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
Absolutely. How are you doing, Brian Grow? We haven't heard from you yet.
Pretty good, man. Just been trying to wrap up a couple of things on the new breeding chamber, and also wanted to thank the gentlemen who are on the podcast that were talking about breeding a little bit earlier, because I'm fixing to go into doing it for my first time, just kind of as a hobby or whatever, with the little aquaponic breeding chamber that I'm setting up. And then I've also been putting some time into a like a mushroom CO2 production chamber that I'm trying to incorporate into my indoor aquaponics system.
Nice.
So I'm also putting the finishing touches on that. I'm got a couple of air pumps that I'm going to be using to move the air around. So I'm going to be doing an unveiling of that hopefully within another week or two. I got a few jars that are colonizing right now. So I'm getting started on that, but I'm kind of going into that for my first time as well. So hopefully that turns out pretty well. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been.
Wow, that's super exciting, dude. The fish ponics and breeding in the same shot. I mean, as long as you have any plants flowering around it anyway, and I mean, how are you going to seal it off? Or I was just curious. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. That's super cool.
You're talking about my breeding chamber?
Yeah, for the fish ponics one. That's awesome. A fish ponics breeding chamber?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Cool.
basically, I built a frame to where my grow bed sits on top of a little wooden frame that I'm pretty much able to seal off. And I have a couple of little vent ports that are going to allow for a passive ventilation system. I've got a few fans on the ceiling of it that are going to be moving that air. And then one of the things that I need to add is just a little oscillating fan to move the air around. But it's pretty much kind of styled after I don't know if you guys are familiar with his YouTube channel, Vader OG.
Right, absolutely.
He made a breeding chamber, and it's pretty badass. He has a few really good breeding videos up, and that's kind of what I tried to model it after. Everything's within a let's see, it's about 2 by 3 by 4. Just a small little chamber, can put about maybe 3 plants or so in there.
Right, perfect, dude.
So it's just a little modest size that I'm able to keep it sealed up. I caulked up all the corners and stuff, and I added some little windows that I can open up and look inside as well. So
Nice.
pretty much, I guess after I seal it up, whenever the male starts throwing pollen, I'm going to basically not be able to get in there for however long the pollen is flying around. So again, thank y'all for the breeding information. I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, following Vader's model, that's exactly right, man. That's who I'd be researching every step of the way when I did my stuff. And so yeah, super awesome. And the way that he got his male set up on a pulley where he can lift his male up without being in the room, and then wait like 3 days to let the eyes.
I love that.
That's super pimp. Yeah.
That's pretty much one of the last things that I need to put on my system is the little pulley system, so I can pull that dude up and get him killed off. So that's pretty much really like the main thing that I'm waiting on. I'm pretty much babysitting a plant for a friend right now, and it's going to be done flowering sometime at the beginning of June. So he's kind of taking up my space, but he's going to hook me up with half of the harvest, so I'm not mad at it,
Right.
But
and as long as you ain't got no
as
plants flowering too close, so you could go in there and probably just kill it real quick and pull it out or something. But
yeah, well, I mean, this
cut
is
you
all
off there.
within the same room. If you go look at my channel, you can pretty much see I have a small indoor aquaponics system set up, and the breeding chamber is in the same room. So I'm trying to take all the precautions I can to prevent pollen from escaping. So
I see, absolutely. Totally. Yeah, he even uses a spray bottle and sprays the water in the rope while he's pulling the rope out.
yeah, exactly. I was thinking about doing that too. But yeah, it's my first time, so I'm definitely
Yeah, you'll rock
anxious
it.
to learn the ins and outs of breeding.
Super exciting, dude. Cool. Yeah, hit me up anytime on DM if you want to chat about stuff. Or
Yeah, definitely. That's also something I was gonna mention is I need to link up with you, Dude Grows community, and seems like y'all definitely have a lot of knowledge to give. So
absolutely,
that's
yeah.
always a good thing.
Be patient and fish, and everybody in DGC and rocks.
Well,
Yeah.
we try to be supportive. of each
DGCs.
other.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. It's all about the growers' love.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all that I've got going on right now.
Nice. Michael, are you still there? I saw you muted your mic there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not you.
Oh, Michael. My bad.
See if he can unmute his mic. All right, well, hopefully he'll get his mic unmuted. I'll see if I can get a hold of him through other means. What do you have going on this week, Roger? Mic is muted there. He's trying to fix his mic. At any rate.
Oh, sorry, I didn't purposely mute my mic.
Unforgivable.
Us blind mothers. I was over here trying to. I've got an article on the stem splitting, and I was trying to put the post on. Suddenly, I couldn't post on the show page on YouTube.
Mm.
So I've been messing with that for the last 20 minutes. But I've got a link for you. I posted in the moderator chat. And that's a link to it's an article that includes an explanation on splitting the stem and why.
Okay.
You see it up there?
I'll look in.
I can get it for you again. But let me see. Yeah,
Well, okay.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing the last 20 minutes or so, and listening to some fine information. I tell you what.
That was breeding.
I like the idea. I love the information I just heard about. Really good for people getting into aquaponics to know about the crawfish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the few people I know that has done it and had a lot of success.
Another great thing about crawfish is they will breed all on their own too, and you won't even have to worry. It's like set them and forget them, and harvest them every couple months, and have yourself a boil, and it's great.
Well, don't you have to worry about your nitrate levels going up at that point if they're breeding without regulation?
No, because they put out such little nitrogen. Like 200 or 300 of them equals like 1 inch of fish.
Right. You can absolutely pack them into your system and not even worry. It's great. It really is. And they keep the water crystal clear because they're filter feeders, so that's another plus. They tolerate a wide range. Like say you do leach some nutrients that you're feeding extra into your dual root zone. Say some of that does leach into your system, it's not going to bother them. They take a beating and keep on kicking. They're great.
Do you know what species they are that you're using?
I use the rusty crawfish that are considered an invasive here, and a lot of fishermen have introduced them to our waterways in Colorado and in many other parts of the United States. They're native to Louisiana. But yeah, just the rusty crayfish. They're highly aggressive though. So like I had mentioned earlier, you got to keep the water flow high and the turbidity up so that they're fighting the water current instead of each other. You know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question a lot of people have too, because I was talking, Aquaponic Dumme and I were talking about how a lot of people they have a plan on going aquaponics, and then they feel like they're going to sell the fish commercially, as well as they turn around and sell their cannabis or their tomatoes commercially also. So the problem is you know, in some opinions that I've done with the research we've been looking at, because I do have, you know, as you know, Steve, I told you about the guy up in Michigan actually that is looking to have a major commercial grill going up there pretty soon. But we won't get off on that. Oh shoot. Yeah, all right, back to, so you're talking about, yeah, have a crab boil every once in a while, or a boil every once in a while with the crawfish, but can you guys address that, have been involved in it in that respect? Because that's a question people have. In some places, I'm pretty sure, in some places you can't use the fish that you're using for your aquaponics system and then sell them. So what do you
right, because of maybe like and I understand why they do that in those places, because your fish might be contaminated with this or that's been added to the system, pH buffers, or you know, any number of things that we usually do end up having to use to keep our systems stable until they've matured to the point where you don't have to do any of that input anymore. Crawfish, all you have to do is purge them and they're clean. So there shouldn't be, I don't see there being a problem with doing those commercially, because once they've been purged, they're clean. So
what do you think about in all, is it across the board, or in some states or some counties or whatever, are there areas where you can actually, you know, have, right, we're talking about commercial, okay, I mean, I know a lot of little, you know, smaller farmers are trying to use aquaponics, and well, like I told you, I wanted to have that, you know, like 16 foot, 4 foot deep pool, Steve, and you guys said, man, you could build this gigantic thing. Well, they're trying to do this, and they're also thinking they're going to be able to sell the fish, and I just wondered what your opinions were, and I understand the crawfish is a different species, basically. So all right, so that's a little not the same thing, like you said, once it's purged. But what about the fish? Can people sell the fish in some states and not in other states?
As far as I know, right, there's all kinds of regulations you have to go through, rules and regulations and licensing fees, and
yeah,
it's all about the money when it really comes down to it. They don't really care about the health of your fish or the health of your system. They just care about the money, the bureaucracies, and that just goes for, like, if you're trying to transport them out of state or even out of county, things like that, as far as I know. And with crawfish, being that like the species I named is considered an invasive species, like, how are they going to tell, you know, that, you know, so you could probably skirt around. There's probably a lot of gray area when it comes to crawfish and other shellfish as well. There's freshwater mussels that you can also use in aquaponics. I've used freshwater mussels before with success. There's prawns. There's the red claw. I've wanted to try the red claw, the Australian red claw. It grows up to 1 pound in weight. It's like basically a freshwater lobster, and I dream of trying that. But yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because I was thinking when you were talking about that about lobsters, doing lobsters. So prawns are good too, because if you could, and the reason is if so basically you just have to check your own DHEC, your own state food guidelines as far as whether or not you can sell them before you planned on building this massive system that,
right,
that you can't sell the fish. Well, you can't
right.
sell, you know,
and I can guarantee that any shellfish that you grow in an aquaponic system is going to be 10 times at least cleaner than what you get out of the natural waterways, because you don't have all the mud and gunk and pollution and all the shit that these shellfish are eating on a daily basis. And you know, like the lobster that comes out of the ocean has mercury content. You're not going to get that in your crawfish or your lobsters in your aquaponic system because you're not putting mercury in it, obviously. So like you wouldn't have, I don't think you would have any problem with passing any kind of health inspections or anything like that when it comes to your shellfish. And I think it is a viable commercial option that more people should maybe look into. Exactly.
Yeah, but we have to make sure we have everybody check your local ordinances first. You might spend a lot of money, you know, but it sounds to me like what you're saying is it comes down to my question was whether it was you could do it there. It sounds to me like you could probably do it most places where common sense rules, well, that limits it, but in other places, it's outlawed. And I don't know about shellfish, but I know when it comes to like the fish.
Tilapia, right. You can't, right. Because they're afraid, a bird might pick up an egg from your tank and transport it to the lake and then this and that. It's like, it's insanity, right? Yeah.
Well, we can grow tilapia. I can grow tilapia fingerlings right down the street. Believe it or not.
Right. Right, but in some places tilapia are illegal to grow unless you go through it's like thousands of dollars worth of licensing, and you have to show them that you're not connected in any ways, and it goes on and on. It's all sort of regulations, right?
Sorry. Hey guys, I gotta cut out. I gotta go start making dinner for the fam. It was good talking to everybody, good seeing everybody. If Marty does make it on tonight, somebody just let him know that I said congrats on the new kid, and I will talk to everybody soon.
Good. See you next week.
Take care.
See you next week, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take this opportunity as well. I gotta go be domestic, so I appreciate the invite. I will definitely be viewing next week. Absolutely. So thanks again, Steve.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Later,
See you
Malik.
guys.
I guess.
Later, B.
Should we get Michael back?
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Hey, while you're there, Mailer, I'm going to be the coordinator next year for a project. We got a little spot to grow, and I could really use some seeds. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to link up. Let me get you my email, and I'll shoot you my number. And yeah, absolutely. I'm right over here and by the Flint area, and yeah, I quit my regular job, and I've been focusing on this and been just having a blast, man. Everything's going really great. Been growing for about 3 years now, and I just love it. So it's a passion, and I'm not even worried about money. I just want to grow a bunch of weed and smoke it all. Like
Yeah, good. Well, yeah, I didn't spend any time.
I keep mine to myself too. I don't sell it. I keep mine to myself.
I didn't spend enough time talking about the plant, but I got 4 little ones outdoor in soil. But next year I'm gonna run a little program. Yeah, that's all I could do.
Hey, take care of business.
Guys, let me ask, could they freeze? Because I had some really great, all from Europe, from Amsterdam, and they'd always been really good to me. And then a couple of years, but they later they froze on the way to California. Real hard freeze in a truck could kill them off because I only got, believe it or not, I think 5 or 6 to pop out of 32 that I tried.
I would try.
Yeah. Freezing does cause cellular damage. Freezing will do that, right?
Okay, because I never had such worse luck, and we were going to do a much bigger run, and but I ended up with 3 DJ Shorts version of the Blue Dream, the Azure Haze, and I got what's called an F10, which is a 90% sativa, and it looks like it's going to be a purple one.
Oh wow, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So that's
good.
I would try a seed sprout tea. You can take corn seeds work really good. Soybeans, other beans work really well. Sprout them in water, and then take that water and pour it into another cup, and then put your cannabis seeds in that, and that
Yeah.
will help. Well, at least it'll help increase your chances.
Well, I've done it for a long time now, 5 years, and I just and those kind of seeds always in 4 days would be popped and strong looking, and I thought that being on the truck line 4 or 5 days across the country a couple of years ago. I know that my only conclusion is they froze.
Sometimes they'll get older to where they won't be as vigorous. Definitely the new seeds are going to be vigorous and just pop and have that crazy vigor. And
Yeah.
sometimes if it's an older seed, it will kind of give you a problem. And if I would think if it went through some temperature fluctuations, it's definitely not going to be good for it. So yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
The seed is dormant. The longer a seed is dormant, the longer it can take to propagate. And that's why a lot of people like to use the soaking method too. When you soak them for 24 hours or so, prior to trying to propagate them. So.
Right.
Just to add to Malik, what Malik was saying. You heard me into that point. So go on, sorry, Mike, go on.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. I got this, like I say, we're in the 707er, I believe it was. We got a hot shotted soil that we're amending every couple of weeks with it's a bunch of ground up goodies.
Like super soil with amendments and stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah, mostly organic, and I'm just stepping them out right now into different size pots. And my point man is new to it, so I mean even the watering, every bit of it. He's tracking the sun with the plant. I finally was over there yesterday, and I said, no, don't track the sun. Turn them a quarter every day. He's an architect, and I told him how important it was to build a little character in these little babies. And so anyway, everybody's learning, and I'm teaching, and it's all going to be good in the fall. I got, like I say, a little spot, and it's a hippie commune that I've been taken into as their leader on that, and a very good group of people, and spiritual and very well grounded, and the opposite of really what I normally deal with the 420 group. But anyway, they are anxious to get a little thing going on, and with the this thing coming apart with the seeds was a big disappointment, and then I had some kind of medical crisis, which is yet to be explained. But I think again it was spiritual in nature. But I started doing that therapy, and it hit me so hard, it knocked me out, and I was laying on my floor in my apartment for 3 days.
Jesus.
And I didn't when I got up. I mean, I didn't even know I got knocked down. But when I got up, it was 3 days later, and I didn't even know that. I found myself out in the parking lot the fourth day, and I couldn't operate my cell phone, and which was obviously, well, you guys could see that I can't do that. For real, I couldn't turn it on, and I couldn't spell my name, and I was out of it. I don't know what happened, but they're still yet to tell me anything medical. But I think it was just a spiritual polarity of the cancer, and this treatment I'm doing is working because it's lymphocytes, and it's going after this cancer like I've never seen ever. And the oil's good. I mean, this shit's got a Hemi in it, baby. I mean, wow, I just can't believe what it's doing. And with me with such a deficit, again, I'm blessed. But anyway, these plants should be good. And, the Blue Dream is really my favorite. That Azure Haze I ran in a basement down in Detroit, actually in Ferndale. And long story short, I got run out of the city of Ferndale, Michigan by gunpoint, and yeah, and they really came for guns because it was going to be an easy gun charge and run me out of town on that, but run me to prison on that. But they came up empty-handed when they came to the house, and I had no guns. And my exact words for those pricks were, "I knew you were coming. I just didn't know when." And I think I might have been thrown down to the floor at that point. But I had a big vault, a 900-pound safe upstairs that they were anxious to get into, and I waited till the last minute to finally, open it because I thought they would burn down the house, the way they were acting, and they finally got access to the safe, and it was empty, and I had sold off I had a nice little collection of military weapons I don't need at this point in my life, and had sold, and they were disappointed in that. And the cops that came over, you guys are going to like this, they were indicted by the FBI after this. And what really, the long story short there was that there was an entire group of rogue Detroit police officers, that this was the group, and they came to my house and a lot of other people's homes, legit places. I mean, I had cancer and AIDS and making this oil and growing in my basement. And because I was out on Fox 2 News talking about it, and some of the newspapers, and being out there and really making an enemy amongst my friends in the marijuana community who, had other ideas and wanted me to tone things down and not be so, out there with the message of, cancer and whatever. And so the cops came and ended up and being indicted for all these, privateer crimes, private things that they were doing against the citizens, and including running their own drug house and stealing cocaine from one place and taking it somewhere else. The lead cop shot and killed himself a couple, 3-4 years ago, and then two of the other 5, one got 9 years, and the other one got 13 years in federal prison. And this is still ongoing. The DPD, Detroit Police Department, Rogue Force, if you look it up, narcotics unit. They're really the fact they're still after the other 3, and in the big picture. And we got a class action lawsuit against them, and hopefully we get a piece of Detroit's ass. And I moved out to San Diego as a result, as a refugee of the drug war, and out here with limited means, but I'm good, you know what I'm saying? But quite a trip.
Nice.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how people at home might be able to try and make some oil for themselves, or how they might go about it?
Oh, the oil thing is pretty simple. The main thing is to, make a clean end product, and to get that done, you need to do the work ahead of time, which is the separation of the resin from the plant. And if you're using an alcohol, which is going to normally pick up a lot of chlorophyll, you'll want to do this, and ideally in a walk-in freezer. If you could get the flour and the alcohol both at a as cold as you can get it in a walk-in. If it's 0 or 10, whatever you can do, that would be fine. And what I like to do is
have you ever tried doing it in a bowl, like a salad bowl, and putting your plant material in that, and then putting the alcohol in that, and then putting dry ice on it, and like almost cold boiling it?
Well, that's a good idea, but my real trick is to do a fast wash, and to not exceed 3 minutes. In any, you know, when the timer starts is when it gets wet, and it doesn't matter what else. 3 minutes is 3 minutes. So that's my thing. And so what I'll normally do is I'll use a 5-gallon paint strainer, like a nylon mesh monofilament bag filter with an elastic garter type top, and put that in a 5-gallon bucket and crunch up all my bud, you know, by hand or whatever, and have almost a rollable consistency, and ideally not powdered, and have a nice little chop to it, and then go ahead and freeze them, you know, if we're using the 190, which is really the trend, you know, it's where everybody's at with it. And on the medical now, this is strictly on medical marijuana oil, FICO. Then I would drop the solvent in as fast as I could pour it, 3 minutes, and then I pull that filter right out and hang it over the you know, the bucket to collect it all, and then let that do that twice, probably, you know, generally, and then that material needs to be filtered again with a I got this on my Facebook, all the pictures of the mesh sizes and all that, and what I would do is box from one 5-gallon bucket to another 3 times, a total of 6 exchanges, and through a filter, a bag filter, and then a finer mash, and I'd have to check, but I think it was 150. We'd take all the plant material out and just leave that empty shell casing from the trichlomes. You know, you get that sand at the bottom of the wash, and then I would then use that old technique from like pharmaceutical companies and use a graduate at the end to separate the trichlomes from the clear wash, and then boil it down. And you know, I always used a rice cooker, but you know, using better equipment is always cool. You know, out here I've seen and been around a little bit of rotovap technologies and short path extractions and things like that, but by and large it was all a rice cooker. And so go ahead and run it down as close as you can to the end, and I always finish it with a air gun with heat on it, with you know, an industrial, like a Milwaukee style heat gun that would actually produce air changes and heat. And that's really how resin, you know, cures, and that's how you drive solvent out of a resin, with air changes and heat. And that's how I would finish the oil, and let it sit overnight, and come back and heat it back up with the heat gun, and just as you know, just kind of break that viscosity real easy with just a little bit of heat. The viscosity would drop right out, and you could package it right up into the, you know, I always put it in 10s because it was going, you know, as a full package to you know, a patient that was you know, requested a full, you know, full course, you know. So it would vary whatever, you know, they'd get, you know, whatever I could get, basically 80, 90, 110, somewhere in that range. But some really good clean oil, and you know, I made it for several years, and it was really my passion, and I was doing it myself, you know. And I was listening to this video that I did with something online with me on it a few years ago, and I was talking about eating 6 pounds of marijuana that I grew. So I did do a lot of the the oil that I did was mine. I grew it myself. I couldn't float the whole thing. I couldn't make oil for me and them and, you know, my patients and all that stuff. But I actually did a 6-pound run and ate it. And it was 280 grams of oil, you know, and as fast as I could. It's pretty cool. Pretty good story.
Damn, that's a lot of oil to ingest in one time, but I'm sure it's beneficial to your system. But yeah, it's really interesting to me.
It took a few months. Like I say, I was almost hand to mouth, and that I could get a pound every 3 to 4 weeks in a 9-station perpetual. This was all under a 5-foot window in a basement, running up to 600s, 4s and 6s, and T5s, 9 stations, and I get 3 at a time in an earth garden every 3 to 4 weeks, which was a pretty cool thing. And so again, this oil was almost hand to mouth. The 3 were getting done and cured enough to, you know, I always call it ballast weed, but it wasn't that, you know, that beautiful 90-day cure that we all like. It was, you know, more of a 10-day, 10-day, is this ready to go deal?
It was dry.
Yeah, if it was cold enough, it was to my benefit. You know, I'd go out in the garage, it was 25 below back there. And so we made some badass oil in some just god-awful conditions in this old garage. And it was really quite cool. And, you know, I just talked to this guy that I had a homeless guy living with me, actually. And he ended up being a really cool dude, and he got caught up in the fray here with this lawsuit and all that, and he's actually going to be a beneficiary. And, you know, I mean, he's actually picked up the whole, you know, all the benefits. He was there, and, you know, I just talked to him on the phone. I got a check from the forfeiture department from the fucking pigs, the police, that what pays me back the money they took out of my pocket in my front room. And he had 150 bucks on the line here, and that was the conversation. The guy's actually getting his money back, and he's on the lawsuit to win, you know, whatever we can get out of him. So it's just a beautiful. That's a good thing. I mean, I really kind of think that's pretty hip.
Did you guys see? This is relevant to a couple of people in the room. Did you guys see that? The American Legion officially asked the government to deschedule cannabis in order to help veterans.
Wow.
No, didn't see it. Good news.
Wow.
Good time for a news segment.
Yep, that was good earlier. Let's see, what day of the week was that? 2 or 3 days ago? On the 22nd. So that was on Monday. The American Legion formally asked the government to deschedule it. They said it helps with PTSD and a bunch of other, helps reduce opioid use and a bunch of other things for veterans.
Big time.
So, yep, so that was really good to
Wow.
see, you know, a group like them to stand up and ask for cannabis legalization. So,
You know, we've got, like, you know, we've got a whole bunch of veterans on our forum, and that's I really love it. And you're right, that there's stories when we've talked, because a lot of them, you know, I've talked with on Skype and such, and they survived basically, just like a couple of your guests you've had that are veterans and all. Same thing, same story. They got off the opioids and, you know, and all, and got through it, you know, and survived because they were able to use cannabis to get, you know, to relax. And you know, it's just fantastic. And I'm glad to see that. There's been a few stories creeping around about that for a while.
Yeah, I've seen
Nice to hear
myself. Yeah, thank God.
It's nice to see they made it official.
yeah, it's always good to see them, groups like that come out and help.
That's cool.
Nice
Well,
try to.
we'll all advocate for that, huh?
Yep. I know Mammoth P hasn't been able to come on the show the last couple of weeks because they've been off in Washington, D.C. lobbying for cannabis and a couple of more eco-minded production of stuff. And I don't know, yeah, they had a whole bunch of stuff they were telling me about. I'm sure they'll tell us all about it when we get them on the show here in the next few weeks. So that'll be cool. I've been in talks with them, and that's been a little bit. It's been going great. We just have to wait until they're free. So. What other things did you guys want to talk about this week? We have a couple of news stories and stuff like that. There was recently a study that came out about leukemia, where they used high doses of cannabis oil, a CBD, CBG, and CBGV, specifically to treat leukemia. And this is in London, and they had a really good results.
Wow.
So
I know what kind of seeds
And
I'm
we
gonna
have
start
had
on.
we have had good results with leukemia. It's been one almost a dead ringer from the get-go.
What's amazing, David, there's been all this, you don't ever want to really jump on it, but you want it to be true, but you see all the claims people make about, cannabis helps cure cancer. And if they're actually now having studies where cannabis is actually helping to cure cancer, wow, I'm on board.
Michael, do you want to tell them?
For sure, Roger.
Michael, do you want to tell them, like, or I don't know if you mind talking about it, but a little bit about like how much that's helped you? I know that hasn't totally helped all the way.
Well, it
obviously,
got me
but
to on oil. Are you there?
Yes, we hear you.
Sorry. The oil thing bought me a lot of time. It got me to that next level, and it ended up, it's still all natural. I just had to pay $1,000 a day for these extra lymphocytes to go after this cancer, and it was, really, it looks like a game ender for the cancer. I mean, it's really over. I mean, it's curing it, and but I mean, based on a double tap, I mean, I don't know, as far as liability to add, AIDS and cancer is a lot of quite a burden, and I just think that I just stretched nothing for a long time, and needed something, but it was the oil, that got me to that point. And this is only 3 or 4 months ago, and I had guys up in the UP that were sending me the oil to carry me on, and but really not enough. I wasn't doing a gram a day, like I should, or even more. I was doing what I could, and so over the course of the 2.5 years out here, I haven't had enough oil, and so that, and the fact that I don't take any of the pills for the HIV, because I just know that's a dead end. It just became just too much, and so I needed that assist, and it turned out to be this this immunotherapy, which is it's farmed unnaturally, but it's the original deal. It's using your original system to do it, and so what I'm seeing is a reversal of what was. I mean, it was really, I had cancer so bad that I had it in both ears, my nose, under my hair, and my nose. Actually, I lost a good part of it, and I mean, I was going down in flames, and what I really saw at the end was the cancer was a lot bigger than I even thought of. That it was all connected. It was all one cancer. It was a giant cancer. My whole head was cancer, and all around my mouth, my cheeks, my forehead, my head, scalp, ears. I mean, come on. And so but the fact of the matter is, the oil got me to the point where I always do the Saving Private Ryan type, scenario. But honestly, it was a war the whole time, and I finally at the end got through, and really unbelievable with these doctors, and you know, having to pitch it, you know, the fact that, you know, I have no money at all, and to get this opportunity to you know, get to you guys and continue my you know, this path, which is you know, to educate and provide you know, to the sick and people that are in need. And you know, once we get through these laws and you know, stay out of prison doing it, I'm really going to be happy. I'm going to be a super happy guy, and that's really what I'm all about.
So you want to talk a little bit about some of the oil production you did I know you helped a bunch of people in a different place than you live now.
You know, out here, I haven't been able to, you know, really get any traction. The market is so warped, and you know, it's just a whole nother world out here on you know, the people and just the whole thing. I mean, I've got no you know, I don't feel like you know, I'm very welcome at all. And of course, you know, I've called a lot of them out directly, and that doesn't get me any brownie points either. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, I've got no time for you know, sellouts and turncoats and people that are undermining you know, our effort to do something good. And you know, a lot of these folks don't have that same criteria. So again, I've made the THCA oil out here. I've made for a guy with Parkinson's. I've helped out a guy from actually through another Michigan connection. Went and spent the weekend at his house and showed him how to make oil and treat his cancer. And a little bit, you know, again, I'd been exposed to some better technologies out here in the actual process of the you know, the oil, and, you know, recovering the solvent, which is always the big bonus, and the safety factor, which is paramount. But you know what? It's been a big disappointment for me to come out here and not be well received as somebody that could help people. This is an area that's going to be really commercialized, and it's really hard to find good people. It's sad to say. In Southern California, it's a different animal.
Do you want to talk about some of the work you did in other places to make oil for other people? I know you helped out quite a few people.
Well, again, you know, Michigan.
Yep.
I had a complete setup to be able to process and you know, run my own my own thing. You know, it was a ideal setup. I spent a lot of money on my basement with air handling and you know, everything that it had, and climate control, and you know, everything. It was beautiful. You guys would have loved it. We had some local magazines. It was in a few times as being out there, you know, kind of a progressive idea, you know, with the way I was doing it with, you know, 3 in a row and, you know, perpetual and all that. And it was pretty cool. But on the other side of that, basement, I had a setup that was originally for building model airplanes that I converted into an oil area, and an area that I could do a lot of the pre-work, you know, in regards to processing the bud. And then I had a garage outside, which was a standalone building that had power and everything, and it was in a good location that wasn't very visible. And so I was able to blow and go right there in the garage a lot. And I was running oil, pretty constantly. And I had people that, actually contacted me and sent the oil all over the world, really, and shipped it in UPS and FedEx. And people were so desperate, for the well-being of their loved ones or whomever they were taking care of. That I was actually getting money, just straight money, right, in the mail to cover the cost of the bud and all the the material that might be associated with that, whatever. But you just don't hear people sending money in a bag, to somebody they'd never met. And it was routine. It was really pretty cool. And the beauty of it is they got their stuff, and they got as much as I could get out of it, which was again, as much as I could, but it was clean. And it was just worked out, and there was never any trouble with sending it anywhere, in regards to shipping or getting caught up in that. But lucky, but doing the right thing, you get good luck. And so I was fortunate on that. And again, taking it to the level that I did, in regards to putting that out on the local media, in the several newspapers, and literally on Fox 2 News. I think it became overwhelming for some of these privateer type individuals that, somehow think that they're going to take over, the marijuana business and own it for themselves. And they could have had a hand in sending these rogue force cops into my house, because really, it seemed to be pretty vindictive. And when the cops, were hammering on me, they really were focusing on this gun. And I should have said that, a gun charge was an automatic 2 years in the state of Michigan. There's no debating that. If you go up in front of a judge with that, you're out of here for 2 years. So, gun's gone. And I think I was really in a lot of people's way, and just was not going along with the flow of things. Whether I was making oil or not, threatening some of these people's business is just, not a good thing. So, but yeah, I made oil for a lot of people. And, I actually got somebody out here now with leukemia that I just shared that same bit with. And I'm going to see what the response is here at the local coffee house tomorrow, and talk more about the oil. Some people with their illness, they tend to own it. And when they own it so long, they start to have a romance with it, and they start loving on it. And this romance, becomes a situation that's really unhealthy. And, this individual seems to be almost at that stage in the game that she's going to some conference because she's one of 6 people in the world with this type of leukemia. And it's like, hey, lady, you didn't win the freaking lottery. You got leukemia. You better get your boots on the ground, and you better win this, because it's going to win you. And so we're going to have that talk. But, that's where I'm at with this individual. And, it's ironic that you mentioned that. But so I'm trying to help out whomever I can. And, sitting at a Starbucks restaurant with, I got no car, no way around. I'm pretty limited, but I'm constantly, putting it out there that, this oil and the marijuana-based medicines are, really our future, and to look forward to that, and protect it, because we're being sold out by our own, and then the obvious crew, the lawyers, and that whole group. So
Corporate money, corporate money.
yeah, you know, and I saw them all back east. They all these you know, these pro guys that, you know, originally in 2010 they were all you know, supporting, and they're, you know, seemed to be part of the group, you know, and then they'd all sold out, you know, within a few years, and even the lawmakers that were you know, fighting against us in the Michigan Lansing area have gone to the point where they not only quit their jobs, they open a freaking dispensary, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the gist of it, and that's how crooked it is. And I got a lady in England. She wants to do a story with me, and I'm going to do it on the crooked world of legal weed, and because it's so pathetic what, you know, we're doing to ourselves on this, and we all lose, and there's not one person or one group that's going to own this thing. And of course, what's really fueling it is the pharmaceutical dollar. That's where this is you know, coming from, and everything else is just chafing and just a distraction for you to look at some other target, and it couldn't be that, and maybe the next guy is going to be the better guy. Well, look what happened this last turnaround. The next guy was worse, and this assumption that, you know, when a law passes, you know, good people are going to assume that, you know, it's going to get better for them. Well, guess what? The people that are passing it aren't good people, and when you get bad people passing bad laws, you get fucked. That's what happens, and you end up in prison, and you end up with, like, John Roberts up in Escanaba, Michigan on the 14th of June. It you know, is facing a judge, you know, because of a traffic violation, and you know, in possession of his oil. So it's, you know, the guy ought to be they ought to make him mayor of Escanaba, or wherever the hell he is up there in the UP, somewhere, Grants Crossing or Bruce Crossing, Michigan. Look that one up. So anyway, that's my thought.
Awesome. How did you? What was the first time that you made oil?
Well, the first time I made it, I was helping the other guys make it, who was John Roberts and another guy by the name of Monkey Paw, and then a real cool dude. I ended up living with him after the cops ran me out of town. It was my staging ground for San Diego was up in K-Pac with Monkey Paw. We had a good time over the winter, long cold winter. But and then there was Gersh Avery, and who's really a key player in the oil. And the three of them had more of a consortium, if you will, of the oil maker clan, this Michigan oil makers group, and they were doing their thing, and, you know, I got the card, you know, to participate in this medical marijuana, which I just thought was you know, a get out of jail free thing where I could have weed and not get busted, and then on top of that, grow it, which is, you know, an unbelievable dream come true. And so that was really where the mindset was at the time. But you know, this cancer that I speak of, I actually posted this on Facebook, that, you know, I'm actually seeing the end of this cancer, but it's been an 11,000 day battle to, you know, get to this, you know, point. And so you know, it's been a really long time, and the cancer came back somewhere along the line in 2010, I suppose. And I'm going to these group meetings and meeting all these people in Michigan that, you know, have big bags of really good weed, and, you know, we started having some really good times and having fun. And my cancer came back, and I came to this group of Gersh and his buddies and Celeste. And then Gersh is he's a little flaky, so I didn't really know how to take him at first. And I listened to him, and I just didn't know what he was talking about. And after a while, I finally realized I had cancer, and I asked him, this oil you speak of, when you say it works on everything, I want to nail it down to one thing. I want to know if it works on cancer. And he said, yeah, that's what I've been talking about. And I said, holy Christ, man, I've got cancer and I want to try it. Would you show me how to do it? And he said, yeah, we will. And I said, you game on. And so I was, an engineer at the time and doing the robots and the paint and all this sort of thing, and a real cheerleader for that and good at it and making good money. And so I had some loot. I put it all into the grow room and all that, and the whole effort for that, and lost interest in the business, but went on to listen to these guys, and we made oil at a couple different places. I remember at one point we're up in, I think, Clare, Michigan. We were doing some kind of a local thing. We made oil at a state park. It was crazy, under one of those those state like enclosures, or you jump under when it's raining, whatever. And we're out there doing that, making oil and showing people. And I remember a few times out at Monkey Paw's place in Mount Clemens, Michigan, off of Gratiot Road. He had a place, and we had made oil there. That's where it was really starting to step up, and it started to work for me. I made the oil with them, and they gave it to me, and I started doing a topical, and I started to see the cancer breaking down and backing off. And my bottom line was that I didn't realize how big this thing was, and I was just tickling its ass. And these spots I was working on, it was just getting madder and madder. And you know what? It's the shark of medical diseases. And when that son of a bitch turns, and when it finally turns to bite you, you're done. And, thank God I had, some kind of backup, and pulled the pin on it, and it worked. And it was right there at the last second. But the bottom line was, that's really what I was up against, and I didn't know it. And I'm working these little regional spots, and the whole area was just hotter than hell. And none of these doctors would go there. And even here, you wouldn't believe how hard they worked towards getting me towards surgery. And I said, no, God, no. I've heard of this other stuff that it works from the inside out, and don't you think that'd work? And no, we don't. We want to cut your nose off. And I thought, good God Almighty. And so I worked it out, but this was huge. And so it finally let go, and it was coming for me. This was it, and right at the end of the year there, it was really bad. And I put on Facebook, I couldn't wear my Ray-Bans anymore. I didn't have enough nose left, to put my glasses on, which is pretty fucked up. And so that it's actually coming back, and regrowing, which is just really off beyond belief. I got a buddy of mine I sit and have coffees with, and he's a doctor, and he works at Scripps Hospital. It's where they ended up taking me when I was found in my parking lot, not knowing who the hell I was, and couldn't operate a cell phone. Or believe it or not, this guy took me to Starbucks, and I said it was somebody else's phone. This is how delirious I was. It was somebody else's phone, and my phone must be at the Starbucks. Would you take me there, and I'll get my phone back, because I don't know what time it is. And the guy said, yeah, man, I'll take you up there. And so he takes me up there, and he says, what's wrong? And I said, well, it's at the wrong place. And he said, what do you mean it's the wrong place? And I said, it's not the right area. this isn't the Starbucks I go to. And he's looking at me, he said, but this is the one you go to every day. And I said, no, it isn't. It's not even in the right area. And look out the window. Look. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, man, but this is it, you know. And so again, he takes me back. This is Saturday night, and you know the rescue didn't come in really till Sunday, and I fell down Wednesday, and so I was just bouncing around, and you know I couldn't spell my name at the hospital, and so what happened? I said, I don't know where I've been for 3 days. There was blood all over the floor, and it came out of my ear, and I just went to a specialist here in UCSD, and he said, your story doesn't match anything. And I said, well, I'm telling you that that's what happened. And so they, you know, when they took me to the hospital, I was definitely dehydrated and looked like I'd been laying on the floor for 3 days. And they checked me out and said, yeah, you have been. And that's really rare. And I said, well, I don't know. I don't know what happened. And so, you know, that's what that was. But you know, again, I think that was that cancer was in me so deep that when that bastard, you know, saw that, you know, somehow that sensed that there was something in the water that didn't taste good, and bam, I turned it right in his face, and won, you know, which is crazy. And you know, going against the universe at that level, and you know, when that animal wants to, it thinks it's going to win, it always does. And you know, this time it didn't win. And I would just thank God I was, you know, I had the resources to, you know, even give you that bit, you know, that story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. So anyway, I'm still battling for Social Security, believe it or not, and I got out of the hospital, and sure as shit, if there wasn't a letter from them and saying I wasn't sick enough, and I thought, you know, motherfucker, what do I got to do for you guys?
Seriously, that's insane.
I mean, are you serious? And
They wanted to cut your nose off, but you're not eligible for Social Security.
Correct. And you know, I was really just shocked, and again, it took me about 6 or 8 weeks to really recover from that. I was talking really slow and quiet, and I was hit hard, man. I don't know what hit me, but you know, I'd never been in a situation like that, and I mean, hit really hard. Like, you know, I can't even describe how big it was. It was really, really big, and so you know, to get up from that, it literally took weeks, and you know, I was always the next day guy. I mean, I joked about it on Facebook that, you know what, out of all the surgeries that I had done over the years, I mean, on a few of them, I think I beat the doctor out of surgery. You know, I mean, I'm out there, freaking waiting room, fully recovered, ready to go. You know, and you know, really a comeback hit, and this was not at all, you know, easy or quick. And so again, I think it had a lot to do with the winning and losing part of, you know, the universe, and to turn it around at the end, you know, in my favor. You know, it didn't go well, and I ended up getting, you know, some kind of, all I can say is there was some kind of fight or whatever. There was blood. I mean, a big puddle of blood on the floor and all over the couch. And I'm thinking, well, I was so out of it. I get to the blood thing, and this is, I think, you know, along the 4-day line, I'm going, well, wow, there's blood all over the floor. You know, instead of thinking, well, wow, I'm the only one here, duh, it's fucking me. And I call 911. I decide I clean it up and then not do anything. And, you know, I was that far checked out. And so I did. I cleaned up the blood on the floor, and I'm thinking, oh, that's odd. And oh well, and you know, we'll move on. And just had no idea what was going on.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Crazy.
Alrighty. Let's see here. South Carolina legalized hemp finally this week.
Yay.
So that's good.
That is good. You know that guy?
Yeah, but with that, the question is how many of the you know, the big farmers out there are going to do it, because there's no way the USDA is going to approve them for loans to do it, and there's not going to be any insurance for their crops, and that's really what a lot of these big farms look at is, can I get my crop insured? Can I get a loan to help with the costs of doing it? That's the big problem right now in Colorado is, you know, we have it legal. We've had it legal for years now, and nobody wants to really touch it. The big farmers, they have all the machinery and everything, but, you know, they can't get insurance for it, can't get a loan, so nobody's growing it really. It's really sad.
That guy who was in San Diego is growing it. He's got an eye on it. Forget his name. He owned Marijuana Inc.
Right. Well, we do have some like smaller scale farmers here in Colorado that do it. I know there's one that's been doing it for the since it became legal, and he's got 60 acres. But I just got done living on the eastern slope where they have like 1,000-acre, 2,000-acre tracts of land. They'd love to do it, but no insurance, no loans, and you know, they won't touch it. It's really sad.
Especially with all the hail they get on the eastern slope.
Right,
Well,
exactly. Without the insurance, you're dead in the water, you know.
Yeah, those other companies have got their teeth in that, you know, going on about K-Pack and living with Pa out there. You know, every morning we go to a little a little restaurant, and I would listen, and they were literally the Monsanto reps, and they were young kids out of college, and telling these guys that you know, there were old farms that were you know, basically infected by Monsanto, and you know, Bill, don't worry about it. You know, we'll cover this. Years on us. And you know, you take you and the missus down to Aruba. You know, buy yourself a couple of sleds. You have yourself a good time, and we'll catch up with you in the fall. And these guys were, you know, really just, you know, running the farm. But you know, Monsanto was the real you know, the monster that was taking over. And those farms are again, you're competing with those guys at such a blistering level that they know they'll lose. And you know, that crop speaks for itself, and you take the insurance and the liability goes up, and boom, they're out of the, you know, they fold. They're not interested.
Exactly.
I saw it. I mean, I saw it every morning. I almost wanted to punch these little kids in the head. These, you know, sales guys, and you could tell that they were making way too much money for their age, and man, they couldn't do anything wrong. And I'm thinking, God, that's an easy gig. And me and the old man were eating breakfast. And I'm like, Pa, do you hear that shit? God damn it, Michael, don't do it. Don't say nothing. I said, oh man, it's wow, you know, and you know, just romancing and. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's they make it not possible. You know, they make it
right.
They make it less desirable. They make it so that
the only one that I've seen, I was going to say, the only one that I've seen that is successful and has been successful is the Naval Reserve of hemp that they grow in Nebraska. That's behind. It's like 1,000-acre tract, and you know, they grow a certain amount here on our soil instead of getting it from the Philippines for naval rope and on for military use, and that's the only one. Right.
For sure. Absolutely.
Well, the head of the Department of Agriculture in South Carolina, his name is Hugh Weathers. He's been a proponent of legalizing marijuana for years in order to increase the tax base. And we have a 10-month grow season here, pretty much. And I would say that this might succeed in South Carolina. They've been trying to do this for a long, long time, but you know, it's a Republican conservative state, so most of those kind of ideas, you know, as anything. But we did have they get squashed. But we did have we had something that happened here that generally never happens anywhere. A few years ago, when CBD oil was legalized practically overnight, and I'm talking overnight, like 2 or 3 or 4 days. A family was it was made public and became a national story about a family leaving South Carolina and leaving their home because their daughter had epilepsy, and they were going to move to Colorado. And South Carolina approved the oil that was necessary to treat her in a week. In a week. So now we've got hemp. That's going to be real good for us down here. In South Carolina, it's kind of weird state. You know, I mean, you know, we got some history here.
A little bit.
We're either the first one to join or the last one to join. In the Revolutionary War, we were the holdout. In the Civil War, we were the first one. You know, the first one. So.
Right, they were growing hemp there to supply the naval ships back then in those days, right?
Well,
and
you know,
Yeah.
with your 10-month
Absolutely.
growing season, that you're right, that'll probably be all that's needed for a lot of the bigger farms that have the machinery that can process the stalks and everything and get it to market. It'll be a big incentive to them that, hey, I can pull 4 or 5 crops out of my field of this, you know. Right.
Well, there's just so many barren farms anymore, and all you have to do is hemp is easy to grow. Hemp's pretty easy to grow, so it's
yeah, it's like growing
them,
oats. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just put it out there, you know, pretty much, and we got, you know, we did pretty good. Well, you know, we're zone 8, I think, zone 8, as far as temperate climate and all, and anyway, so it's good. It's a big move though. That and I, you know, it's kind of fun. Well, I've had my nose down in all these, like, I love the, you know, like Steve, it reminds me of old family stuff, even though he's much younger than me. Too many irons in the fire. I missed that news article. But that is awesome. So
I totally dig the hemp thing, and I know it bioremediates your soil and everything, but I got to take this chance to tell you guys I got to bounce out. Thank you so much for having me, Steve, and everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Dude, I want to get everybody's email and stay in touch, and all the viewers, thank you for having me, and love the show, and stay watching and chat, guys.
hey, I'd love to check out your genetics sometimes, man.
Absolutely, dude. Definitely want to stay in touch.
Sounds dirty.
Right.
Have a blessed night, guys.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Steve.
Enjoyed it.
Later, guys.
Later.
Make sure to check out his website there in the description. It's tgagenetics.com. It's down there in the description if you're looking for more info about him.
Awesome.
So there was many people in the open chat tonight, like, to give anything away, was there?
A couple. Well, no, there was. We just forgot about that. We'll still do that. I'll get the info from him, and maybe we'll do it next.
But do you have a direct line with Mike over there?
With who?
Mike, our guest.
Yeah.
Michael? Me?
Mike,
Anyone-
Michael. I'm sorry, Michael, not
Yeah,
Mike.
anyone that's on the show. Yeah.
You want me to give it to you?
No.
248.
No. He was asking me if I had to connect for the guy that just left.
Did you read my message to you, Steve, about Michael?
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't. Is that something for later?
Yeah. We'll do that in a couple. We kind of do that stuff at the end.
Oh no. So okay. I'm not sure if we got the same. No, I'm talking about the gift.
I'm confused.
All right.
I'll have to look.
All right. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you again. All right. I'll tell you what. All right. Sorry. Here we are. Once again, we're having a moment.
That's all good. They happen on the show all the time. It's a starter show. We teach things.
Yeah, certainly. Was.
I'm going to be starting my video series on nutrients and additives and ingredients that you see in your stuff. Someone's breathing into their mic. There we go. Yeah, nutrient additives and minerals, and kind of on a one-by-one basis. I think people will get more info out of it that way, and it'll be more beneficial. Be able to cover stuff a little bit more in the way that I want to cover it. So I think that'll be a cool series to put out there, and help everyone learn how to manage these different things and things to, we'll cover a lot of stuff that you should not use too, I'm trying to figure out if I want to rotate it, how I want to rotate that, but I'm hoping to have the first video out tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. So.
Okay, so I sent you a message. I brought this up earlier. Huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, did you guys have anything else you guys wanted to talk about? If not, we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, I probably got to move on because I'm in my buddy's apartment and using his Wi-Fi. They're probably tired of me.
Okay.
On her phone, my buddy's wife's phone. So it's time to go.
Okay. Well, I very much appreciate you having you on and having you talk about your stuff. And it'll be great to have you on again sometime.
For sure, I'll get that Apple thing. That's jammed me before, so I'll get on that and be a little more accessible in the future. I apologize for not being a higher degree of readiness, but anyway, that's the real world. And so long from the canyon in La Costa.
Alrighty. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. See you next time, I hope.
Yep, thanks. Do you guys want to plug
Yeah,
your different YouTube channels or anything else that you want to plug?
Check us out, Aquaponics Cannabis Growers, admins here, and also check us out at Above Average Aquaponics, all on Facebook. That's all I want to plug.
Well, I'd just like to say that I'm going to invite veterans to join. We're opening this chat service, and I'd like to ask veterans to. That I'm giving I want veterans to support other veterans, and we're going to have a format where we can allow that. If I can get some veterans to man the chat so that other veterans can contact them to talk about their stress or share experiences with another warrior, which is the easiest way I think for them to get therapy. We're offering that. So any of your friends out there, any of you folks here on the podcast that might know a veteran or somebody that might be interested in that, that's what I'm looking for, some people like that. They have a free domain to go and chat and support each other.
We were also talking about maybe trying to do a separate veterans podcast, and trying to help facilitate that, maybe doing that a different night of the week and trying to help them get that together.
And then we can open up our chat room that we're talking about to them, so they could have the
do something similar to the way that we kind of do this with like a podcast format, something people can listen to once in a while. So we've got a couple different things we've been working on. So
so many things. Yeah.
Alrighty. Brian Grow, did you want to plug your channel?
Yeah, definitely. Just check me out on YouTube. It's spelled BRAYNEGRO, and it's pretty much the same thing on Instagram, brain_grow. And I'm always posting cool stuff that I'm working on Instagram. So I definitely post there more often than on YouTube. So make sure and check that out if you're interested.
I got to check out your channel. I've been looking forward to it. I've been fighting. You keep saying I'm bigger on Instagram. I don't want to join another place,
Yeah, well, I mean, I should be working on these the mushroom CO2 chamber and the wrapping up the breeding project pretty quickly. You know, hopefully within the next week I'll be having those videos uploaded. So I mean, be looking out for those too, and I'll
Nice.
probably post those to the Aquaponic Facebook group as well.
Very cool. If you need
Can
any
I
help,
ask?
let me know. I did some work in Colorado, helped out a little bit with a guy that had a really big mushroom and aquaponic grow that was attached to it. It was pretty dope.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, definitely. I'll probably be hitting you up for some information then.
Well,
Brain Grow, do you do any other? Do you do your own podcast like some of the other moderators, or is this just
No, no, I don't have my own podcast or anything like
okay?
that. I'm pretty much lucky enough to be on this one, compliments of Steve. So I'm pretty happy with that, you know. But I mean, other than that, I mean, YouTube, I'm fairly active on there. You know, I try to upload at least 2-3 videos a month. So
Cool. Just Steve and I had talked about. I hope Steve doesn't mind if I say this, but I'd asked him if I want to start a podcast network at ilovegrowingmarijuana.com, and
mhm.
I wanted to add this is going to be one of the first podcasts that I add. And Steve said, "Okay." I hope it's still okay, Steve.
yeah.
But we're going to do it, and then so all this, so we'll get this out to all our members, and we had like over 700,000 page views last month. So,
Awesome.
your ideas and stuff. Anybody that are on the, I'm going to try to build a little podcast network. I keep forgetting to talk about that and get that. That's one of the things we got to all address someday. Maybe.
Yep. And for those of you guys that don't know, if you go to the Aquaponic Cannabis group on Facebook, go to the description on the right-hand side, and there's a bunch of different Aquaponic Cannabis YouTubers that are all pretty active. And if there is any on there you guys would know of that I don't know of, just post in the Aquaponic group and Aquaponic Cannabis group, and we'll make sure we get them added. But there's about 8 or 10 people on there now, I think. So if you're looking to learn more, you can watch a bunch of different groups of people and how to do it.
Once you link to one, you get the links to everybody else.
So, alrighty. Did you want to plug anything before we go, Roger?
No, that's all. I was really more worried about, getting it out there that we've all got friends that are veterans. That's all I'm worried about right now is,
Yeah.
I'll plug when I publish, I'll plug my stuff when I publish in the next week or 4 weeks or whenever it really happens. But basically, if anybody out there wants to come and have a great, a place to come and share knowledge and help people or get help by expert growers, a lot of really good expert growers, including aquaponics, come to ilovegrowingmarijuana.com, where I'm a administrator and moderator, and I've got a great team, including Aquaponic Dumme. And I don't know, it might be a surprise any day now. Some other friends around might join or something and be there in case you wanted to chat with them or ask them a question. So we'll just leave it at that.
Very cool. I'm going to be teaching next month at I forget what the date is exactly. I think it's the sometime in mid-June. Sorry, I forget the date this time. Out of Ouroboros, they're actually doing a longer commercial class, and then I'm going to be teaching the cannabis as a one-day add-on, where he's going to teach a bunch of the other portions of it, and we're going to have it like a condensed one day as like an add-on to the commercial class if you're interested. We'll also we'll also have the medicinal herb class is another additional one. He'll also have a day to write up business plans and how to set up all that stuff. So if you're looking to get started, for that kind of stuff, definitely check that out up at ouroborosfarms.com. Trying to think what else. Check me out at potentponics.com, potentponics on YouTube. I'll have a lot more videos coming out in the next week or two. Trying to think if there's anything else going on right now. Thanks to True Aquaponics. Check them out if you need nutrients. Shout out to Do Grow's show, dogrowshow.com/aquaponics, or just any other cool stuff that they have going on. They're big supporters of the show, and we appreciate it. Trying to think if there's anybody else. Shout out to Optic Foliar. They were on the show the other week and have done a bunch. And yeah, I think that's
That was a great show.
pretty much everybody. Yeah, sorry, I'm super high. One too many times today. Definitely check out Marty too. His channel is AP Meds. He also has his Patreon, which I know you can get to from most of his videos. Check that out. And we will have the Aquaponic Cannabis class again online. We had to postpone it because of Marty's child deciding to beat us to the punch that Saturday. So we're going to reschedule it. So if you missed it, don't worry, we'll definitely reteach it. So.
Was it a boy or a girl? Because I was waiting patiently for him to maybe drop in and to tell me the news himself, and I never heard.
I think it was a girl. So
Oh, put you on the spot there. Huh? Better be a girl.
I don't know. I'll let him mention it.
Okay. All right. Well, see, that's what I wanted to do. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, tell Marty we're breathless with anticipation over the news of the arrival of his child.
If you love, if you have any questions or topics you want covered, you have a question about your grow you want covered, feel free to write us, ponics@gmail.com, and we'll answer the question on the show. Let me do one last sweep, make sure there wasn't any questions in chat. Morning part.
I'd like to say something while you're looking. If you decide to try the stem splitting technique that was described tonight on the podcast, be very careful. We don't want any of you to cut off your thumb or your fingers, okay? It is not easy to cut a big slice through the middle of a cannabis stem, okay? Please,
definitely before the blunt.
exercise extreme caution, and I would even say wear some protective gloves.
Alrighty. I think we'll wind things down, and we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we'll have MFP on the next couple of weeks. Kingdom Aquaponics was going to try and be on, but he had some problems again with his equipment, so we're going to hopefully try again next week. And yeah, I'm not sure. We have another cool guest. The other cool guest working on is one of the Rastas that I was working with down in Jamaica. We're going to hopefully try and get him on. Technologies, or trying to get him onto Hangouts has been a little bit tricky, but I think I'm going to end up, I think we finally worked it out, and we're going to be able to get him on soon, and we'll get him to talk about the old days of growing in Jamaica, which will be pretty cool. So, alrighty, I'm going to get going. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Good night.